So in previous videos, I've shared that you may not have motivation the entire time you're writing your book. However, there are ways that you can combat those moments of low motivation, starting with setting realistic writing goals. So for a lot of first-time writers, what you're feeling is not necessarily a lack of motivation, but feeling overwhelmed by the process itself. So here you are having to write 40,000, 60,000 words, and that can feel very overwhelming. So my first tip is to set realistic writing goals. Break your writing into smaller chunks. So instead of looking at it as 80,000 words that you need to write, take it one chapter at a time. Not only does this make the writing process easier, but it helps you to have a sense of accomplishment. Tip number 2 is to create a dedicated writing space. Now this one doesn't seem like it should do much for your motivation, but in my experience, it did so much. Now right now you see me sitting in my office, but prior to having a dedicated office space, I used the corner of my bedroom. So I set up a desk, I put my computer on it, and I found that I was way more productive because I had some place that I could work. Not only did I have a dedicated space, but I made sure to eliminate all distractions by cutting off my phone, by closing my door, and making that time very sacred. Tip number 3 is to join a writing community. So writing can be a very solitary endeavor, but it doesn't have to be lonely. So my recommendation is to find communities to help you to stay motivated. So obviously my YouTube channel is a great place to start, but there's also Facebook groups as well as in-person communities. Now, speaking of which, I am strongly considering doing a 5 or 7 city tour. Tell me if that's something that you guys would be interested in. I live in Atlanta, so I'll obviously start here, but again, let me know in the comments section if that would be something you would be interested in. So I talked about this tip in a previous video, but I think it's really important to reiterate that you need to celebrate small wins. So whether that's overcoming writer's block, hitting a certain word count, or finishing a chapter, celebrate those small wins. Give yourself a treat, whatever that treat is for you, but it's important that you celebrate those small wins because it will help you to stay motivated. Tip number 5, again, I've talked about this in previous videos, but create a writing routine. So whether that's certain days that you need to write or a certain word count that you need to hit, consistency is key. Having that consistency builds momentum and helps you to stay motivated. Tip number 6, don't aim for perfection with your first draft. So one of the biggest hurdles for first-time writers is this desire for perfection, whether it's the perfect word, the perfect chapter, or that they've expressed all of their ideas succinctly. The reality is that that may not always be present in your first draft. Even as a seasoned writer, I go through multiple drafts of my manuscript. And so I want to take some of the pressure off and let you know that the magic happens in the editing phase. So to keep your motivation high, take some of the pressure off of your first draft. Tip number 7 is to find inspiration when you're stuck. So during the writing process, you may find that you are experiencing writer's block or you simply just run out of creative ideas. My recommendation is to step away from your manuscript. Now, only you will know how long is too long, but typically for me, I might step away for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and every single time I do that, I come back with a fresh set of eyes and a burst of creativity. So that is one way that you can find inspiration, simply by stepping away. Another thing that you can do is read other authors within your genre to look for inspiration, or simply reaching out to your target audience and asking them for feedbacks on ways that you can improve what you've already written. All in all, I hope these tips have been helpful. Make sure you check out my previous video where I share 7 things that you must know before writing a book.